Well, we sent you the audio
Mm-hmm.
of Tyler Perry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to take me at my word. I want you to hear his words. And what did you hear that man saying? What did he say?
This video will tell you a secret message that Diddy is not alone. Indeed, just a few minutes ago, Monique dropped a bombshell, exposing what she claims are some of the darkest aspects of Tyler Perry that make him a worse criminal than Diddy. Some of his crimes in the Hollywood industry were mercilessly exposed, leaving fans extremely disappointed. Are you ready to hear the worst of Tyler Perry? Let's get started. Recently, Monique took to the Apollo Theater stage, turning her comedy set into an open forum about her challenging experiences with some major Hollywood figures, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and Oprah Winfrey. This isn't the first time she's addressed her issues with these prominent personalities. But her Apollo performance suggests she's more than ready to delve deeper, and this time, Tyler Perry might be in for the most heat. To understand where this tension stems from, it's essential to go back to the roots of Monique's issues in Hollywood, which she traces to the period following her role in the 2010 film Precious. In this intense drama directed by Lee Daniels, Monique delivered a powerful performance as Mary, an abusive mother, which earned her an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. But despite the acclaim, Monique claims her career didn't progress the way she had anticipated. Instead of riding the wave of her Oscar win, she found herself cast out from opportunities in Hollywood, with only 4 film roles to her name since her performance in Precious. In 2015, Monique publicly voiced her concerns, alleging that she had been blackballed by Daniels, Perry, and Winfrey. According to Monique, the trio wielded their significant influence to hinder her chances of finding work. Lee Daniels responded to her claims, attributing her stalled career to what he described as her excessive demands during the Precious campaign. Daniels suggested that Monique's attitude and approach made it difficult for Hollywood executives to see her as a team player, casting a shadow over her future prospects in the industry. But Monique has consistently argued that her expectations and requests were neither unreasonable nor unusual, framing her treatment as a broader issue of selective treatment of outspoken black women in the entertainment industry. During her recent Apollo Theater performance, Monique doubled down on her past accusations, but this time with a twist. She told her audience that the term blackballed doesn't quite fit what she believes happened to her. Instead, she referred to the actions of Perry, Daniels, and Winfrey as whiteballing, implying that her marginalization in Hollywood was shaped by a system that favors a certain type of compliance from black entertainers. This whiteballing, she suggests, is a unique form of professional gatekeeping that selectively rewards only those who conform to specific, often unspoken expectations within the industry. The phrase whiteballing speaks volumes, as Monique frames her exclusion as rooted in a form of Hollywood gatekeeping that punishes black entertainers for being vocal or deviating from the expected path. By coining this term, Monique highlights a complex issue in Hollywood, where even black decision-makers and industry giants like Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, despite their success, may operate within a system of values that does not wholly align with those of black artists who prioritize independence or speak their minds. Monique's comments suggest that these figures may wield their influence in ways that can be both exclusionary and aligned with the traditional structures of Hollywood, rather than challenging them. Tyler Perry, in particular, has been a focal point of Monique's recent criticisms, with her comments suggesting he might have a considerable role in her career struggles. Perry, known for his vast entertainment empire and reputation as a trailblazer for black creators, has often been praised for creating opportunities for black actors. However, Monique's allegations hint at a different side of the story, one where Perry's influence might extend into controlling who gets a chance and who doesn't, especially if they are perceived as challenging the status quo. According to Monique, Perry's clout in Hollywood gives him considerable sway over casting and production decisions, which she believes he has used to her detriment. Back in 2009, Monique was riding high on her career momentum. Her role in Precious, directed by Lee Daniels and co-produced by industry giants Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, was generating significant Oscar buzz. But behind the scenes, a different story was brewing, one that would eventually overshadow her stunning performance and lead to a conflict that would change the trajectory of her career. The issue started with the press tour for Precious, which was essential to build award season momentum. Typically, actors are expected to make appearances, give interviews, and drum up publicity for a movie, especially one with a shot at the Oscars. However, there was a catch. The studio wasn't planning to pay Monique for the promotional tour. While many actors go on these tours without extra compensation, Monique felt she had already given everything to the role and needed a break. She had completed her obligations by delivering a powerful performance, and she felt her work on set was the most important part of her contribution. Monique was balancing multiple responsibilities at the time, including her talk show, a comedy tour, and family life with a husband and young children. She was drained and saw the downtime as a chance to recharge with her loved ones. In her mind, she had every right to say no to the unpaid tour. She explains that she approached Oprah about her decision, saying, "I'm doing a talk show, I'm doing a comedy tour, I have a husband, and I have babies. I have a little bit of downtime, and I am going to take advantage of it. So, I'm not going anywhere because I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done my part, so we mutually agreed to disagree." Monique believed that her decision to prioritize her family and personal well-being was straightforward and reasonable, especially considering that she had already completed her required promotional commitments. To her understanding, both Oprah and Tyler Perry accepted her decision with understanding and mutual respect. However, Monique soon realized that her choice had come with unexpected consequences. Soon after, she began to feel the effects of what she describes as being labeled difficult and hard to work with. This perception, which she hadn't anticipated, started to follow her in Hollywood circles. After her Oscar win for Precious, Monique expected her career to reach new heights. However, instead of landing more roles, she started noticing a chilling trend. Fewer calls for auditions, fewer scripts coming her way, and an eerie silence from Hollywood that didn't add up. Within weeks of her Academy Award, she noticed headlines describing her as difficult to work with, a label that quickly became the dominant narrative around her name. The irony wasn't lost on her. She had just received one of Hollywood's highest honors, but suddenly she was being shut out. At first, Monique tried to brush it off, thinking it was just bad luck or a temporary lull. But as time passed and the offers remained scarce, she started connecting the dots. She recalled how she had turned down an unpaid promotional tour for Precious, a choice she made to preserve her well-being and focus on her family after months of filming. As far as she was concerned, she had every right to prioritize her personal life, especially since her contractual obligations were complete. But Hollywood, it seemed, didn't see it that way. Then came a crucial revelation. In a candid interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Monique shared that Lee Daniels, the director of Precious, admitted she was being blackballed because she didn't play the game. According to Monique, Daniels explained that her refusal to engage in unpaid promotional work went against the industry's unspoken rules and was seen as a sign of non-cooperation. Hollywood, he suggested, wanted actors who would go the extra mile without question, regardless of whether they were compensated. By declining the unpaid tour, Monique had inadvertently positioned herself as a troublemaker, someone unwilling to follow the industry's norms. But Monique wasn't willing to quietly accept this label. She took to various platforms, sharing her side of the story and making it clear she felt mistreated. She didn't stop with Daniels. She publicly called out Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, two of Hollywood's most influential figures who also played significant roles in promoting Precious. Monique wanted one thing from them: an apology. She believed that Oprah and Perry, in particular, had contributed to the narrative that she was difficult and had the power to dispel it. For her, their silence was a tacit endorsement of the rumors, and she felt it was only fair they acknowledge their part in the damage to her career. The situation between Monique and Oprah was especially complex. According to Monique, she had once reached out to Oprah to discuss a potential guest appearance for Oprah's talk show, but under one condition: that Oprah avoid discussing Monique's family on air. Monique was very protective of her privacy and made it clear that family matters were off-limits. Oprah assured her she understood, and Monique believed the boundaries had been set. However, as Monique tells it, Oprah later brought Monique's brother onto the show to discuss family matters. To Monique, this was a profound betrayal. She felt that Oprah had gone back on her word, disregarding her wishes in favor of sensationalism. Monique even claims she had offered to cancel the show if Oprah didn't want her brother as a guest, telling Oprah, "If you don't want me to have your brother on the show, I will cancel the show. No show will happen, but I wanted to call you up to see how you felt first." Despite this, Oprah went ahead with the segment. Monique saw this as not only a violation of trust, but also as an indication that Oprah was willing to compromise their relationship for ratings. With Tyler Perry, Monique's grievances were slightly different, but equally deep. Perry had built his reputation on being a champion of black artists and creating opportunities for underrepresented voices in Hollywood. But according to Monique, when it came to standing up for her, he fell short. She felt Perry, along with Oprah and Daniels, could have used his influence to dispel the difficult label that was damaging her career. Instead, she believes he allowed the narrative to take hold, making it harder for her to land work. A few months after the fiasco surrounding the Precious press tour, Monique took the stage on Comedy Central and dropped a bombshell about her complicated history with Oprah Winfrey. During her appearance, Monique opened up about an experience that went far beyond professional disagreements, striking at the heart of her personal boundaries and family trauma. Back in 2008, Monique revealed in an interview with Essence that her brother Gerald had assaulted her when she was a child. This was a painful and personal part of her life that she had been open about, especially regarding the complicated relationships within her family that had resulted from the abuse. Monique's relationship with her parents was strained, and she confided in Oprah about these issues. According to Monique, she explained to Oprah that the abuse had severely impacted her relationship with her family, leading to years of emotional distance and unresolved pain. Oprah seemed understanding, or so Monique thought. Then came the moment that would forever change how Monique viewed Oprah. Oprah had approached Monique about inviting Gerald to appear on her talk show to discuss the abuse. Monique, while uncomfortable with the idea, ultimately gave her blessing with one caveat. She did not want to be involved. She made it clear to Oprah that she did not want any part in the episode. She wanted to keep a safe distance from the situation and asked that her personal boundaries be respected. As far as Monique was concerned, Oprah understood and agreed. However, when the taping day arrived, Monique was shocked to see promotional commercials for the upcoming episode featuring not just her brother but her parents as well. Oprah had gone ahead and invited her mother and father to participate in the show, a move that blindsided Monique. She hadn't been told her parents would be involved, and she saw the commercials air without any prior warning. For Monique, this was a deeply personal betrayal. She felt Oprah had misrepresented her intentions, presenting herself as sympathetic while ultimately disregarding Monique's feelings and wishes. Monique has spoken out about how profoundly hurt she was by Oprah's actions, describing it as a moment that made her question Oprah's integrity and compassion. She felt that Oprah's decision to include her parents, especially after she had confided in her about their fractured relationship, was a violation of trust. To Monique, it seemed like Oprah had prioritized ratings and sensationalism over their personal connection, exploiting her family trauma for the sake of television drama. She has publicly said that Oprah's actions felt like a stab in the back, adding that she believed Oprah had presented herself as a caring confidant while secretly planning to exploit her story for viewership. Monique expected an apology, one that acknowledged the hurt and betrayal she felt. However, that apology never came. She stated that she never received any form of acknowledgement from Oprah, neither a public nor private apology, and this silence has lingered in her mind for years. To this day, she's still waiting, believing that Oprah owes her that recognition of wrongdoing. For Monique, the lack of an apology symbolizes Oprah's unwillingness to take responsibility for the impact her actions had on Monique's life and sense of trust. In the years that followed, Monique's relationship with Tyler Perry also became a point of contention. While the two had worked together on Precious, Monique grew to view him as complicit in her alleged blackballing, as he stood by silently as the difficult label attached itself to her name. Monique has not only held Perry accountable for his perceived role in her sidelining, but has also hinted that he's been in the background reinforcing the very stereotypes she felt Oprah exploited. The fact that Oprah and Tyler Perry are close friends has only compounded Monique's frustration, making her feel that they were united in their decision to ignore her perspective and dismiss her feelings. Rumor has it that Monique is ready to reveal even more about Perry, hinting that she's privy to secrets and information that could potentially shift how he's viewed in the industry. For someone who's been in Hollywood as long as she has, it's not surprising that she might have insights or observations about Perry that aren't widely known, and Monique's current public stance makes it clear she's willing to go as far as necessary to get the apology she feels is owed to her. In 2019, Monique appeared on The Steve Harvey Show and engaged in a heated discussion with the host himself, a longtime friend, over her methods and the backlash she's faced. On the show, Monique recounted her disappointment with several prominent figures in her life, including Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and, painfully, Steve Harvey himself. She reminded Steve that she had refused to play the game and had stood up against powerful figures, even when it meant taking personal and professional risks. "Now I said no to some very powerful people," she began, explaining that her decision to reject certain demands made by influential Hollywood insiders had resulted in severe professional consequences. Monique then turned to Steve, making it clear how hurtful it was for her to feel unsupported by people she considered friends. Referring specifically to Oprah, Perry, and Daniels, Monique said, "Y'all knew that I was not wrong. Each one of you said to me, 'Monique, you're not wrong.'" She felt betrayed, as these influential figures privately affirmed her stance, yet failed to support her publicly. Monique saw this as an indication of the industry's pressure on black celebrities to conform, even at the cost of standing by their values. It was one thing for Hollywood at large to view her as difficult, but knowing that individuals she respected and had close relationships with chose to turn a blind eye to her struggles cut her deeply. She described feeling whiteballed by Hollywood, but it was her isolation within the black community of entertainers that added a unique sting to her experience. What stung even more was hearing Steve Harvey, whom she viewed as a brother, openly suggest she had gone about things the wrong way. Steve had gone on air to say, "My sister burned too many bridges, and there's nothing I can do for her now." Monique expressed her pain over his comment directly, saying, "Steve, do you know how hurt I was?" She saw Steve's words as a public dismissal of her, and she felt he had effectively shut the door on their relationship by choosing to voice this stance to the world. To her, his statement represented the broader Hollywood attitude that her outspokenness had left her beyond help or redemption. For Monique, it wasn't just a career setback, it was a deeply personal betrayal. While Monique struggled to find allies willing to publicly support her in Hollywood, her friend and fellow entertainer 50 Cent stepped forward in a show of solidarity. Known for his own outspoken personality and willingness to confront Hollywood's power dynamics, 50 Cent not only vocalized his support, but also took action to boost her career. In 2020, he cast Monique in the second season of his hit show, BMF, a gesture that carried significant weight given her ongoing struggle to find roles. The casting choice was more than a simple show of support. It was a statement from 50 Cent that he wasn't afraid to challenge the prevailing narrative about Monique. Since her precious days, she had been labeled difficult, and casting her was, in a way, a direct challenge to the Hollywood figures who had publicly distanced themselves from her. By bringing her into his show, 50 Cent showed that he believed in Monique's talent and wasn't interested in being swayed by reputational hearsay. This move not only helped Monique gain a platform to showcase her talent, but also signaled a potential shift in her career trajectory, giving her a much-needed opportunity to prove that she remained a powerful force in the industry. But 50 Cent didn't stop at offering her a role. He also used his substantial social media presence to call out some of Hollywood's biggest names who, he believed, had wronged Monique. In a now-deleted Instagram post, he publicly urged Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey to repair their relationship with her. His words were bold and unapologetic. I'm sure Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry would not want to continue to allow their influence to damage a Thieralmo worldwide career, and this has gone on for way too long. With this post, 50 Cent was doing more than offering support. He was openly calling for accountability from two of Hollywood's most powerful figures. In his post, 50 Cent continued by pointing out the lasting impact that Oprah and Perry's perceived influence had on Monique's career. He urged them to make amends and issue a long-overdue apology. This was a bold statement, especially considering the widespread reverence for both Oprah and Perry within the entertainment world. His words carried a tone of urgency as he added, "So now would be a great time to apologize because I'm going to put her back on. I don't miss." This declaration hinted at 50 Cent's confidence in Monique's talent and his commitment to supporting her, regardless of the obstacles she had faced. Let's talk frankly about Tyler Perry for a moment. His characters and narratives, while beloved by many, have been criticized for often portraying dark-skinned actors as antagonists or troubled individuals, while lighter-skinned or white characters tend to occupy more heroic or morally upright roles. This recurring pattern has prompted many in Hollywood and among his audience to question whether Perry's casting reflects implicit biases and perpetuates harmful stereotypes. Comedian Chris Rock, a peer and observer of Perry's work, has been vocal about this trend. He pointed out that it's rare to see dark-skinned male characters in Perry's films portrayed as supportive, respectful partners. Rock speculated that if Tupac Shakur were alive today and cast in a Perry film, he'd likely end up as a villain rather than a hero. His observation is both a commentary on Perry's work and a broader critique of Hollywood's long-standing issues with colorism. By suggesting that even an iconic figure like Tupac, known for his intelligence, charisma, and activism, would be relegated to a villainous role, Rock highlighted the deeply entrenched biases that shape casting decisions in the industry. Colorism, or discrimination based on skin tone, has permeated Hollywood for decades, affecting the types of roles available to actors and how they are perceived on screen. For black actors, particularly those with darker skin tones, this often translates into being cast in roles that reinforce negative stereotypes, characters who are violent, untrustworthy, or morally compromised. Perry's casting choices, as Rock and others have pointed out, reflect a troubling trend that echoes a broader issue within Hollywood, where lighter-skinned black actors often receive opportunities to play more sympathetic or complex roles. This colorist framework within the entertainment industry, limits the representation of darker-skinned actors, and contributes to the perpetuation of stereotypes that harm real-world perceptions of people with darker skin tones. Hollywood has a history of stereotyping and reducing the depth of its characters, particularly when it comes to race. Traditionally, darker-skinned characters were often cast as antagonists or marginalized individuals, while lighter-skinned characters were offered lead roles that allowed for more nuanced portrayals. As a result, audiences have been exposed to a distorted portrayal of people based on skin tone, often reinforcing harmful biases and unrealistic characterizations. This issue became especially apparent in the early 2000s when audiences and activists began to call out the entertainment industry's biases more explicitly. Movements such as Oscars So White and Me Too have exposed how deeply entrenched inequities exist within Hollywood, demanding accountability and systemic change. The number Oscars. So White campaign, for instance, highlighted the Academy Awards' consistent neglect of actors of color, as well as directors and writers who brought diverse stories to the screen. It forced the industry to confront the lack of meaningful representation in its most prestigious accolades, sparking debates about inclusivity, fairness, and the industry's responsibility to offer a platform to diverse voices. Similarly, the hashtag #MeToo exposed the systemic abuse and harassment that many actors, especially women of color, had faced at the hands of powerful figures in Hollywood. These movements have shed light on the ways in which Hollywood has upheld structural inequalities, not just in terms of gender and racial representation, but also regarding the types of roles available based on skin tone. What do you think of Monique's accusations against Tyler Perry, and do his crimes surpass Diddy's? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.